Hi, I'm Tony Starr, and I'm from Seattle, Washington. I'm 32 years old, and I started dancing 2 years ago. So it was 2018. It was the first time I went to a studio. And then 2020, March, when we got quarantined for COVID, is when I signed up for Steezy. I guess that's question one right there. But I feel like my age would be helpful for people to not feel discouraged about starting, because I feel like most of the time that I hear people that are feeling discouraged about their age and getting started dancing, they're like actually pretty young. They're like 20 something every time I hear about it. I think they feel that way because they're comparing themselves to people who started when they were kids or when they were teenagers, or all the super popular people on YouTube that are super young. And I don't think they realize how much of a 1% that is, but they're also on this side of it. Um, you have to realize that now at your age, you're mature enough to stick to disciplines and stick to foundations and understand that if you want something, you can really stick to it. Whereas maybe if you started when you were a kid, you might not have been mature enough to really progress at all. So you might have quit. So I think maybe you have to look at it that way. And here, 4 years from now is about to go by anyway. And in 4 years, you're going to be 4 years older, no matter if you start dancing or not. So in 4 years, you can actually develop some pretty good skills. And whether or not you start or not, it's going to go by. Or you could have that 4 years go by and you don't start, and then you don't get any skills. So you might as well start. So question number two is, what is something I can start doing today? I'm gonna skip that one. I guess just start. Number three is, what kind of classes do you recommend? I recommend taking classes that you don't think you'll like. So in my studio, we have jazz, funk, and contemporary. And the names or titles of those dance styles really threw me off at first. But I went to a contemporary class, and it's a funny story. I was, way older than everybody in there. I was the only guy who looks like me in there. And it's a shoeless class, so girls are practicing ballet spins, and I'm like, oh, this is really weird. I'm feeling really insecure, just weird. Anyway, we did the piece, I learned the piece, and I loved it. I go to that class all the time. I know everybody there now. I'm really glad I did that. And then another time that I went out of my comfort zone was with Krump on Steezy. They had a challenge, and I never wanted to try Krump because I was just worried about, cultural appropriation or looking a certain way. And so I did it for the challenge, and I got so many compliments on it because I just felt like it fit me. It was very masculine and very tight and flexed, and it was just, it had that vibe. And then after that, I started researching everything about Krump, and now I love Krump, and I do Krump all the time. So yeah, man, just get out of the comfort zone. I think you'll learn a lot about yourself if you just take classes that you aren't sure about. So next is number 4 is, how often and how long do you usually practice? About an hour a day. And I know that because, so I'm a competitive bodybuilder. I do a lot of photo shoots too. So I track my heart rate and use it for cardio. So I'll usually learn a piece on Steezy, so I have the steps, because learning the steps doesn't really get my heart rate up. But when I drill that piece, it gets my heart rate up. So I'll take an hour just to drill it and drill it and drill it, and I'll watch my heart rate and kind of pace myself so that my heart rate stays at a certain zone. And I got to do this cardio anyway, so it's either going to be the treadmill or Steezy dancing. I'd rather dance, because then I get a skill that I get to improve on, and I get my cardio in. So for me, I know it's an hour a day, and so I stay really disciplined with that. Plus, when I went to my first class, I decided I wanted to be a dancer. This is something that I wanted to do. I don't think I want to make a career out of it, but this is something that I want to identify as a dancer. Number 5 is, how do you stay motivated to keep going? I don't overthink it, but I got to do this cardio anyway. And so look at it like this: you need to get your exercise. There's no time frame that you need to be a dope dancer by. There's no rush to this, but you need to get your exercise anyway. So I stay disciplined that way by, thinking of it as, this is my workout. I got to get this in. And I'm just committed to this. Sometimes I don't feel like dancing, but I do it anyway, and then I feel good that like I pushed myself to practice. Number 6 is what dance accomplishments are you proud of or that you didn't think was possible? So I did a bodybuilding show last year, and this is like a year into my dancing, and I started doing some pop and lock stuff on stage, and people loved it, and so many people started following me and friend requesting me after that. And then I actually got a call from a promoter, and he asked me to dance or like perform at his next bodybuilding show that he was going to host. And so I trained for that, and that was supposed to be July after COVID, but it got canceled because of COVID. So they want me to still do it next year. So that's pretty cool. Like, I'm gonna get paid for a performance, already. And I guess my progress is a pretty good achievement. So yeah, I have this niche of like mixing my bodybuilding posing with dancing. So that's kind of what I do. Best one-liner advice for somebody that thinks it's too late for them to start dancing. Time will go by anyway. Or don't overthink it, man. It's you and music. That's all that dancing is. I danced because of the way music made me feel, not because I wanted to be an amazing dancer. It was just me and music, and we had a connection. So it's the way my body feels when I hear certain songs, I'm a gym owner and we're playing music all day, and when I hear something, I'm like, oh, I'm dancing to that tonight. So that's just, my one-liner would be don't overthink it, or this time is about to go by anyway. 4 years from now, you're gonna be 4 years older. You might as well start. So whether or not you start or not, that time is going by. So I know this email is gonna get sent to Jesse, and I just wanna say personally, I'm a big fan. I love the way you conduct yourself online. It's really cool and professional in how you represent dance. There's a lot of dance videos on YouTube, but there's not very much dance information, dance knowledge, and I really aggressively look for stuff like that, and it's hard to find. And Steezy does it so well, and Jesse and Clay, you guys kill it at that. And I know how I do a lot of videos, and I know how hard it is to get that. And I just want to say thank you to everybody at Steezy for making this resource for me. It's been a place in social media that's really positive for me. I've made great friends on the Facebook page. It's been a really cool experience, and I look forward to continuing to talk to everybody and encourage everybody and have them encourage me. And yeah, just thank you so much. Thank you.